I have to. Okay, I ended up not going live on YouTube, so I have to actually. I I had it set up to where you could manual or automatically start the stream, and it all switched up on me. So basically, what I was talking about before uh, I figured that out was that we are in the process now of going through. I just started the show, so nobody really missed anything on YouTube. But me and John were talking about the possibility of giving out free game codes on the show, and the reason why we're saying that is because John mostly, but I sometimes catch him. I find free game codes that you can get off of Steam, game of or Galaxy of Games and Epic Games that they usually send out for like Halloween, the fall, and they also do it for special events and things like that, holidays. And I usually keep an eye out for it, but John's a stickler for it. So when he does that, he's usually always sending me a whole bunch of games that he wants me to play. And the other about 4 days ago, we were discussing, or I brought it up to him. I was like, well, instead of you trying to give them to me, why don't we try to set it up to where people can like enter prizes or enter contests and stuff, so that they could try to win these stream keys or game keys, and from at first, from what I get from it, he sounded like it would actually be an interesting thing to do. So I'm gonna check back with him and see if he's still interested in that. And if he is, then I want to set up a challenge that I have been wanting. Well, I've been wanting to do something with this for a while, but it's there's a group in England. Usually, most of them are around London, and they call themselves roadmen. Now they have a really, really, really messed up freaking slang that they talk. And what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to set up a competition where people can come on the show and they can try to speak roadman. Now I have a script set up. Now this script is pretty complex. It's got between 1,400 and 3,000 words in it. The good news is it's a conversation between two people, so you'd only have to play one person. And my challenge would be that person being able to do the script and sound the best out of everybody who's joined the competition. And if they can do that, then they get a free game key for winning. Now, the whole thing about it is you can send it in to me, contact me through the comments sections or on Skype and Discord. Either way, I'm not gaming with Infamous on both of those. Or you can send it to me through my email at rogerhanson1969 at gmail.com. Now, if you don't want to record it and send it to me, you can do it live on the stream with me. It's up to you. It's like I was saying before I hit start stream on YouTube, that I know that people are a bit shy, and this isn't really aimed at just people who get on the internet and stream. So this is opened up for anybody who wants to do it. I know there's a lot of people who are pretty video and audio shy, so I'm making it to where you can actually send the recordings in separate from the live stream if you want, and I can still air what you record onto the stream after you send it in. So it just makes it easier for you. Now, if you don't want me to air it on the live stream, that's cool too. You know what I mean? It's just for the purposes of finding out who the winner is. So if you win, the only stipulation I have is that I have to play your recording. But if you don't win, then we won't have to do it. But that's up to you. It's your call on that one. So I was able to get caught back up for YouTube and let them know what was going on. And I'm glad that I caught that at the beginning, because last time I did my stream, I ended up forgetting to hit start on X. Now it's on YouTube. So with that being said, I would also like to say that we have a really cool background here that I got from Mike Wojciech from Dragus Productions. He's my buddy on Skype and Discord as well. He sends me a whole bunch of cool stuff so that I can use it, and this is one of the things he had. I figured I would do this one on the background for these episodes. I think it looks pretty cool, so that's another thing I wanted to point out. And Old John has been doing a lot of work with me in different projects. Me and him both are involved with a YouTube and Rumble channel, as well as an Odyssey channel called The Wonderful World of Weirdness. And besides that, we've also been gaming together. He goes by Old John in gaming, and you can find his Discord channels on Discord. One of them is Old John's Dungeon Crawlers, as well as Old John's Gaming World. Now, he's the one I was talking about when it comes to the game keys, the free game keys. So he's the guy that's going to be working with us. Now, if you guys are on Discord and you want to join me, you can join me on Home Away from YouTube. I am in the Home Away from YouTube roundtable chat, so you're more than welcome to join me if you wish. I also have the chat open on Discord or Skype as well, so you can come in on Skype with my Gaming with Infamous chat there as well. So I will leave this open for a little bit longer, and if it's not, then I will close these out and go on with the show. That way we can get something going on here. But that is what I wanted to announce. I apologize that I had to start over again on what I was wanting to talk about. The only reason why I had to do that was because I had to actually start the YouTube stream, which apparently didn't do. So we've got that taken care of now. Let's see here. Now, after that, I wanted to start talking a little bit about streaming games. You know, for me, there's something that I've always had an issue with when it comes to streaming, and the one thing that I really had a real big issue about is how much easier it is to stream games and get views, whereas if you're doing things that are outside of the gaming community, it's harder for you to get those views. And it seems like a lot of YouTube and other platforms are geared towards, you know, gamers. That's basically what it's about. It's just like on Twitch. You know, I'm streaming on Twitch, don't get me wrong, but it's also geared towards gamers. And when you go on these platforms, it seems like it's so much harder to freaking get other content on, get views for other content that doesn't consist of gamings. Now I could sit here and I could just do gaming videos left and right, not edit it, not do anything, just game it, and I guarantee you I could get a heck of a lot more views than what I would get on my other channels. Like I have a channel that's called Earth, and when I first started it, you know, I wanted it to be more natural, you know, more natural, kind of have a more natural kind of way of going about it. I wanted to, you know, kind of talk about nature, talk about, you know, gardening, things of that nature, you know what I mean? Stuff that you hear everybody on YouTube talking about that we should be into, and we should be more of this and more of that. But in reality, they don't get on YouTube and they don't get involved with gardening and nature and things of that sort. It's, you know, and it seems like it's harder for people who are into gardening to do that, other than going out and getting a sponsor who's willing to pay them to do it. I've also seen that when it comes to my other channel called Working with Audio and Video. I watch a lot of people who do projects on Blender that are always having to have sponsors in order to get any kind of money out of it. Now, these are people who are very professional at computer graphics and stuff, you know, and they take their time to come on to the platform to kind of show everybody how Blender works and how you can do special effects and things of that nature. And from what I see, man, they barely get the amount of views and the recognition that a gamer does. A gamer sitting down playing, you know, Mortal Kombat or freaking, you know, Resident Evil gets more views. Things that I've had things that I was interested in, you know, and things that I'm still interested in, as well as new things that I've thought of throughout the whole time with my other channel, Earth, you know. And here lately I finally started it up to try to give it another go, but it got to the point with all that where I ended up just giving up on it, you know, because for one thing, I had issues with gardening, and when it comes to just doing the garden by itself, but then taking time to make videos of it. I didn't have really that great of a computer back then, and I was using phones to do video and stuff of that nature, and it was hectic trying to figure out how to do all this stuff and still be able to make a garden, you know. And then after I did all these videos and I got them done, nobody was watching them. And the reason why nobody was watching them is because they freaking wanted to watch cool stuff like video games like Minecraft and freaking all these other games, you know. And don't get me wrong, I did videos for gaming too, you know. I've been doing them ever since my nephews and my nieces have been little kids. We've been doing them, playing video games forever. And I think the first game that I actually did as a stream was Minecraft, and that was a long time ago. It was it was on my main channel. It wasn't on my Gaming with Infamous channel. Just to set that clear, I actually changed the name of this channel and made it into a gaming channel after I had started doing it on my main account, which is Roger Hansen. And I did that with a really, really bad computer. Didn't have very much good equipment, but I did it. And it was frustrating, even with doing the games, you know. So I mean, I ended up getting angry pretty much. There was a lot of anger to a certain extent, you know, because it's like I could see where I actually wanted to put real content on YouTube that I thought was freaking real. You know what I mean? You step outside and you do this stuff, and this is real stuff. This isn't, you know, stuff that's on the internet. This is stuff that people do, and it wasn't getting support from YouTube. I mean, YouTube never ever gave me any support when it comes to that, and this was after using tags at the end of the videos. It was using SEO, all that stuff. It still just didn't go through. But then I could turn around, I could get on YouTube and I could freaking stream, you know, a video game, and I could get views from it, you know, and that was something that really annoyed me, and it kind of held on. I held on to that for the longest time, to be honest with you. It did cause problems with me. You know, it's like I said, I could go on YouTube and stream about games, and I can get views, but I had to struggle to get views on my other channels. I've had, well, the politics you can get views on, but like when it comes to like Earth, that one's just now getting traction, and that's because I changed from gardening to other topics and bringing in different things like history and things of that nature. So that was something that I had to actually put into it, and that isn't really what I was going for, but I had to change it. I also added, you know, a story that I've been going through and working on. It has to do with duality and things of that nature, philosophy, you know, stuff like that. So I added that on, and none of this has to do with, you know, gardening or nature or anything of that sort, you know, because it's hard to find people who are actually willing to get on the internet and do those things. So that was something that I had to learn how to do. Now, the one thing that I do also want to mention as well is the editing. You know, when it comes to gaming, don't get me wrong, I know it's easier to get on YouTube and just stream and not worrying about doing any of that other stuff, you know. But when it comes to editing too, I think that I'm kind of stuck on that one, because there's some people that there's people that I've done these interviews with who have point blank said that they don't give a damn about editing, you know. I mean, they don't even care about it. Where I actually do edit. I edit a lot of things because, like I said, I come up with different content, you know, that I do that's outside of gaming, and I've learned to edit, and I like to do it. Now, I've also met a lot of people who do game, or not a lot of people, but I met some people who do game and they do edit their stuff, but not all of them do it. At the same time, I can also tell you that there's people who just live stream shows who feel the same way, but they think you can just get on the internet and just live stream and you don't have to do nothing, you know what I mean? I've actually had somebody say that on a show, and then when I called them out on it later on, they straight up denied it, you know what I mean? But that is a thing that a lot of people do. They get on here and they live stream. They don't care about editing. They don't care about trying to learn something and get better at it. But I can say that I have learned from when it comes to editing from people in gaming, especially in the retro community. I learned how to do templates and stuff through the retro aspect of it, because a lot of people who do retro gaming, they always set up templates to do things like Pokemon and things of that nature, and that's something that I really don't get to do very much when it comes to other genres and stuff like that, genre or however you say that. So in that aspect, yeah, I have actually learned a lot from it. And in the beginning, I learned most of my streaming and the audio and everything that goes with OBS and all of the technical stuff like that. I learned from gaming. I even learned about playing games and streaming on a crappy computer, which that's not recommended, by the way, but I had to give it a try, you know. I have learned a lot from gaming when it comes to editing. I do have to say that. Now, stuff like with gaming, I also learned how to create good thumbnails, intros and outros. Those are things that I did learn in templates, you know, again, with retro gaming. I learned all of that because I actually went in and I actually added them on there to them, you know, and I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. It drives me nuts sometimes, but I do enjoy the editing. And when I hear people say that they don't like to edit, but they just want to get on like YouTube and live stream and that be done with it, I don't understand why they would do that for a long distance of time, you know, because to be honest, if I didn't edit these videos, and I wouldn't really want to do this for a very long time, especially video games, you know. I was talking to somebody about this before, and I said, you know, do you really see yourself playing video games 10, 15 years from now? And the truth is no. I mean, that's the way he even answered it, you know. You have to grow with this stuff. If you're sitting around still doing video games 15 years after you started as a gamer on the internet, then you have problems, because most people don't last that long with a gaming career. They usually learn more stuff and they move on to better things when it comes to video and things of that nature. So you know, and for me, it was never about just getting the views, you know. I wanted to go to the next level when it comes to all of it, when it comes to the editing, it comes to the computer graphics, when it comes to working with the audio, things of that nature. I've even gotten into wanting to learn more about SEO and setting up a good channel and things of that nature, you know. That's where it's at for me. And the reason why I do that is because, you know, it has a lot to do with the interviews that we've done on this channel, on the Home Away from YouTube. The one of the good interviews that we had was with freaking Gemini. You know, Gemini came on here, and what impressed me about him was the moment he got into the chat and it was time to talk, he looked straight at the computer, okay? He looked straight at the monitor, and he aimed his next comments towards kids. Not us, not anybody else, just kids who are on the internet and they're into video games and they're wanting to stream. And he just said it like it was. You know, he said don't come on here thinking that you're going to make a lot of money and you're going to get rich, you know. And then he proceeded to go into talking about his experiences and the things that happened with him, and he was dead set about it. Now, I was impressed with that because not too many people do that. And that took a lot of courage. And right now, I don't know exactly if that was his, you know, goodbye speech, him and Casual Hardcore, if they were like sick and tired of doing the streaming and wanted to go out with a bang or some shit, you know, or if, you know, he was serious about it. Either way, it was a really good thing that he did that, and I thought I gave him a lot of respect. I give him a lot of respect for that, because that was really good, and I really liked that whole interview. If you guys get a chance, go and check it out. It's been posted on Discord, and I also have it in my playlist. I mentioned before too about the Home Away from YouTube channel. At the moment, nobody has access to it, so I don't really know what to say about that, you know. So for now, I'm doing the streams on my own channel, and that's the one thing I think. But check it out; it's a really good stream. So, and then mentioning RJ. RJ's pretty cool. He's one of those guys who I think would really do good if he'd stick to his podcast. He does gaming too, but he also does podcasts kind of like this, but better. He gets into the award or reward systems and stuff like that of games, and he really breaks it down. Now he ended up ending that one because his buddy moved off and had other things to do, but I really think that that's something he should have really stuck with, because I think he's really good at it. There's very few people who can actually do a show as well as what he did, where they got on and they started talking about the actual business behind the video games and the award systems and how these games work and stuff of that nature. So that's the one thing that I did want to mention too. Before I ended up, forgetting to mention it and stuff, because I got to give him respect. He does know his business. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about editing too. RJ was one of those guys who says he doesn't like editing, which is fine, I guess, for most people, you know what I mean? But he's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to the actual video game world. So it's kind of give or take on it, you know what I mean? A lot of people who actually started in this in streaming, usually had to edit their own stuff, and I've noticed that a lot of people now are going out and hiring people to edit for them. Like, I edit everything, I've been editing since I first started, and I'll probably be editing when I'm finally done with all my stuff. But when it comes to certain people that I do know in the gaming community, I do like their videos, even though they really don't edit or nothing. There are people that do edit that don't get very much credit either. Darker Things is another one that I'd love to mention when it comes to this, because he takes time and effort into editing his videos out. He doesn't do video games as much as what he used to. He likes to do the spooky stuff and the serial killer videos and stuff of that nature, but he always takes time and effort to go through and edit his stuff and make sure that it's really good. Zach and Rapid also do the same things. They're really, really big on editing. So that's the one thing that I can say. Not everybody has that mentality, and I have learned a lot from gaming. I'm not going to say I didn't, because I actually did. I learned a lot from getting on video games, playing the video games, and then going back and editing them. Now, if I didn't learn all that stuff, and I was just getting on and doing streams with all of the stuff I had to overcome when it comes to computers and streaming and audio and all of that stuff, I wouldn't have stuck around. It wouldn't have been worth anything. I had to be one of those people who had to learn from the things that I was doing. So if you are a person who's out there and you are gaming, I'm not going to say that it's worthless, okay? But I am going to say that after a certain amount of time, you need to be setting your priorities a lot higher than just playing video games. And you have to ask yourself, are you willing to be that guy who's sitting around and just playing video games 10, 15 years from now? Or do you want to be one of those people that take what you learn and apply it to something else? There's people who are serious about audio and video and SEO and things of that nature. There's courses that are being put out on LinkedIn Learning, where you can go in and you can actually learn how to edit film, edit video, get a job doing this stuff, but you have to take and put the time and the effort into it. There's people that are making money off of SEO, learning how to use SEO to where they can actually, you can get good views and stuff like that on your websites and your videos and everything, AdSense, things of that nature. So that's all I have to say on the topic. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up was because of that interview with Gemini. That was a really good one. And again, I suggest if anybody is interested, they need to go watch that because it's pretty good. Another gamer that I want to mention is CJ11. Okay, now I had a really, really good interview with him, and the one thing that I forgot to ask him about was a few things about modern warfare. He's been doing a lot of modern warfare videos. It kind of caught me off guard. Because like the whole time that we were doing these interviews, everybody was flocking in, and we got to CJ and like the time was bad and I couldn't get many people in for the interview. And CJ has been around and playing some amazing games like you wouldn't believe. So it was something that really stuck to me. Eventually I'd like to be able to get him back in and do some interviews and maybe have him come in and talk a little bit more. And then the Drew Gamer is another one. He's got a lot of good stuff. I was going to forget mentioning him. He's another guy that I'd like to have on here to do an interview. Maybe have some other people come in and do a round table. But to be honest with you, I'm just as happy when it comes to having an interview as what I am these round tables, because being honest, it's about asking these questions and getting it down. I love doing the interviews, and the way I set it up this year, it goes back to the way I originally wanted to do it when I was doing my videos before I started getting involved with Home Away from YouTube, where I'm going to do 12 episodes, and if I can get interviews on the way, then it's cool, but if I can't, then I still have 12 episodes that I've done, like this one right here, that's something that I think was an issue when it came to doing CJ, because I was thinking too much on the lines of having people in while I was doing the interview with them, when in reality it was just as good having him in there and doing an interview. That's what I wanted. I wanted to do an interview with my nephews before I even started doing these live streams, I did one with both of my sons. I did a video each with both of them, and I thought that was pretty cool. That I was cool with that. Just being able to sit down with somebody and actually interviewing about video games, I thought was cool. And that also happened with the Crappy Gamer. And the Crappy Gamer, he was actually doing something that was interesting that most of the people on Home Away from YouTube haven't been doing, and he started using Kick. Now Kick is something that Mark Wojcicki is using as well on his shows. I forgot to mention that before, but he's also been using Kick, and I've been hearing things about that from him, and during the time that I did the interview with the Crappy Gamer, I didn't know Mark Wojcicki, so I ended up not asking him some good ones. So later on, maybe I can get him on and kind of go over that. I felt kind of bad that he didn't really get too many people coming on to the interview, because like whenever I first met the Crappy Gamer, I met him at the same time that I met Rockstar, as well as Sosi and a few others. We all were on Old John's Discord channel, and Old John was still doing WLCs back then, and that's how I met those guys. So it was before I even went on Home Away from YouTube, and we were just doing it between the 3 or 4 of us. You know, we had 3 people on a regular basis that would go into WLC, and we would watch each other's videos and watch, like, and comment on them, you know. And I was happy with it, you know. But then John decided to give up on the WLCs, and he recommended Home Away from YouTube, so I went there. And at first I was really hesitant on actually starting up another group and doing it, because it was just I don't know, I guess I thought that doing that WLC was great, but later on John let me start it up again, and I realized how horrible it was. You know, and the sad part is it's starting to look that way now when it comes to Home Away from YouTube. Here in the last few weeks to a month, I'd say it's just dwindled down. We've gotten some support on there, and me and Rockstar has been going in there a lot. Zach's been doing it too. Zero has been actually coming in, but not as much as what Rockstar has been doing. I've been having to put up my Earth videos and things of that nature on there too, because I've been caught up in a lot of projects. I haven't been able to live stream for about a month now, and that's because I have all these other things that I need to catch up on and get straightened out. So, you know, things had to suffer. I know my views are going to drop on that because I haven't been doing live streams, but that's the price we pay. The only reason why I was doing these live streams, to be honest with you, was so I could post them on the WLC on Home Away from YouTube. That's it. I mean, I didn't even live stream until my son came to move in with me about 2 years ago, and then when he moved out, I was still doing them. So you know, I mean, and that's the truth. I mean, I just really never did much of the live streaming when it came to that, because like I said, I had an old messed up computer. Whenever I tried to do live stream, everything went to crap. And this was before, whenever, you know, YouTube and Google was separated from each other, and they had the really screwed up live stream from Google. And then, like, you got on YouTube and used theirs, and they were always pushing the XSplit like it was so great and shit. I noticed that these days they aren't trying to recommend, you know, encoders whenever you go into the YouTube studio. But I think that's a good deal. I have been able to pull up 46 minutes, man. That's pretty good. Now, after all of that, I want to go on to something that, you know, a buddy of mine, V, mentioned this, and then Mark Edworthy has mentioned this too, and I think this is something that a lot of gamers would probably find interesting. You know, when they they have this idea of creating the ideal game channel. You know what I mean? And for me, I've been doing gaming for years now, and I get a kick out of that because, like, with my experiences doing gaming, I've found that there is no such thing as an ideal gaming channel. Okay, um, I've I've been doing all kinds of games now. My gaming channel would be kind of like all the streaming that I do. It's a variety. It's a variety gaming channel, and I do that on purpose. A lot of people don't do that. I can understand that, but mine's a variety, and it's a let's play. You know what I mean? And let's plays are basically when you play a game and there's no expectation of from others that you're going to beat the game. You're just playing it. That's what a let's play is. Now, that's what I basically do, and it's a variety of games, and I do that for a reason. It's because, you know, there's people out there who do make channels and they just focus on one single aspect or one game or one theme, and that's all they do the entire time that they're gaming. Okay, they like somebody who's into Resident Evil that makes a channel specifically about Resident Evil, and that's all they do. And don't get me wrong, if people are into that, and that's cool, and it makes it a lot easier for them, you know, but I could never do that, or I couldn't, you know, just focus on one game, because there are so many games that I do play, and if I'm sitting around and I'm playing all these games, but I'm only streaming one of them, you know, I don't think I could cope with that. I'd probably snap, and I would end up doing what I'm doing now. I would eventually end up making a variety channel when it comes to gaming. The one thing that I have been learning too about a lot of it is the competition is way overwhelming. Okay, so you have to look at that. You have to understand that like when you start setting up channels that are geared towards one certain thing, then you're going to have to deal with the competition, and you're just starting out as a channel too, mind you. Okay, and trust me, the competition in gaming is insanely overwhelming. Whenever I started really getting into this stuff and learning about it, I found out something that I mentioned to Mark Edworthy last week, which I'll mention again, and this is the fact that when you go in and you decide what games that you're going to play, don't go in and pick like the top 10 games, okay, because the competition is really outrageous, especially when you're starting a gaming channel, okay. The best thing to do is like maybe go down the list, find one that's maybe the 12th. Hello, Mark. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello. Now, what I found out was like when you go down the list, you know, pick the one that's maybe the 12th popularist, 13th popularist. Don't go in and pick the first 10 popular games if you're a small channel. You know?
Okay. I was just wondering the lineup of this thing, this stream.
The lineup.
Just thought.
Yeah, it's up there on the Skype. If you're on there, I've posted it on there if you want to check it out. So.
Yeah. So I've just been repairing my chair, and my chair's arm so broke off, and yeah, there's a pain in the backside.
Caught you when you was just waking up, huh?
Huh?
Caught you when you was just waking up, huh?
No, I've been off 4 hours. Today's just been.
Yep. Yeah. So today I basically gotten to the later parts where I was, but I was wanting to just go through more of the current events and things that I wanted to discuss I went through talking about how much easier it is for to stream games, and then I started talking about editing, and then some of the interviews that I had with gamers, things like that, and then
Well, sorry, I thought you meant you were setting up an interview, or you had interviews live.
yeah, I've had past interviews. I've had tons
No,
of them.
I mean today.
Oh no, I haven't had any interviews.
Okay,
Not today. This is an
the
actual.
initial interview with gamers, the one.
Yeah, this was an actual show, but interview with gamers. It's just basically going through and talking about some of the gamers that I interviewed already.
Okay.
Then like this one, this next one this one kind of relates to you and V about the idea of creating the ideal game channel. Okay. Now,
I do too.
like, and V was really adamant about it. He really felt that you could do statistics and find out all the analytics, and you could pinpoint what was the best type of gaming channel to set up, and it's like I said just before you came in here. I've been doing this stuff for a really long time. I really have. Okay, and I've come to the conclusion there's no such thing as an ideal game channel. Absolutely no such thing as an ideal game channel.
It's knowing your demographics. It's, when you say an ideal game channel, are you talking about sort of leisurely, sort of Angry Bird sort of games that people play on the bus, or
see, this is what I was.
Sudoku, or
this is what I was
Call
talking
of
about.
Duty.
See, this is what I was talking about. This is like with mine. Mine's a variety channel, and I've done that on purpose for a reason. Okay, and it's like I said before you came in here. If there's people that want to be specific about their games and they want to focus on one game, they can do that, and a lot of them do it. But for me personally, it would drive me nuts if I'm playing all these different games and I'm focusing on nothing but freaking Call of Duty.
Yeah, me. I'm going to make myself coffee because I haven't had the coffee in fucking hours. Seriously, hours. I went out earlier, wanted to do some grocery shopping, and then realised I had my card back here, and I've come back spent an hour looking for my card, can't find it anywhere. And then my chair broke on me.
I picture you riding to town on a bicycle.
That's right.
Do you ride a bicycle to town?
Sorry, you broke off a bit.
I said, do you ride a bicycle to town?
No, I walk shop on this. I've got a supermarket super south of me, which is about 10-minute walk, and I've got a supermarket to the north of me, which is about 5 minutes right up to the north of me. It's only about 5 minutes to walk.
I just, for some reason, I pictured you being one of those English guys that rode his bicycle to town. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. You see it in all the shows, dude. It's like, that's so stereotypical.
Boris Johnson Green Bike Initiative.
Mm-hmm. So
only in London.
Yeah. So do you agree with me though about the competition is so overwhelming with these video games too? And like when you start a channel, you don't go, you know what I mean? You don't go in picking the first top games to freaking play on your channel because the competition's just going to eat you up.
I don't know. I can think of a few people who will just play Skyrim mods and review Skyrim mods, or this very squeaky sounding English bloke that reviews more in mods.
Now reviews are different, and reactions. A lot of gamers are going more into the reaction videos too.
Okay.
I've been seeing that happen a lot, so that is pretty interesting. Now, The thing I was saying though is like the competition on it is really overwhelming. Now later on, once you get a following, you know what I mean, you get a pretty decent one. Then yeah, go for the big ones. But I wouldn't jump right into going for the biggest games. For you know,
Depends on your niche.
well, see, that's another thing I was gonna get into. Like when well, first of all, you have to understand that someone likely has done what you have thought of. Okay, that's something. Like everybody comes up with this idea that they have a bright idea that nobody has done before, and that's not the way it is with gaming. Like I guarantee you, there's somebody who has done what you're thinking of doing. Okay.
Well, as I've said in the past, I prefer the more narrative sort of approach. It's more sort of RPG, but where you sort of create the story yourself.
Yeah. Now, see, that's where we come into the genre, or the genre, or however that says, genre in games, okay? Now, for one thing, that has turned into a big thing when it comes to YouTube and some of it in Rumble too. That they're getting into it, but like the genre on YouTube is insane. They're big on the genre and the niches. Those two are the two biggest things when it comes to YouTube. But you also have to understand, you know, like there's different categories of games. All right. So, what are you going to go for? You know, there's gaming for tabletop role playing games. There's internet role playing games. There's tournament games, and then there's cross platform games. You know,
And there's a lot of sub-genres in between those.
so I mean that's the one thing that you have to freaking think of, and then you also have to think about the freaking latency. Like there's actual latency problems when it comes to these cross-platform games.
What do you mean latency? Latency as in internet connections.
Right, right. Your latency when it comes to your gaming. Now,
I mean, if you aren't playing live, if you're recording everything,
well,
then you've got more control over editing and.
Well, see, in my last stream that I did with you, Rockstar Pool made a comment about how he had problems with his freaking tournament. Okay, and I do want to, while we're talking about, I do want to mention it to him that I'm sorry I misunderstood what his comment was talking about, but he was talking about latency that I was bringing up in the stream, and that's something that happens a lot whenever you get into these cross-platform games and these tournament games. Like
okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
You know, like I tried Dota 2 out, and my computer wasn't very good. It was a quad-core CPU, and it didn't have a GPU at all. And when
it did have a GPU, but it would be just all machines have got a GPU. Just because they're not the AMD or NVIDIA styles.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they haven't got GPU, it just means that they've got a lower spec.
Yeah.
GPU.
Well, what it was though is like whenever I played it, you know, it caused a lot of latency, which ended up getting me kicked off of servers. It also it also caused the game to just freeze up, or whenever like graphics were really, really strong and stuff of that nature. You know what I mean? So that's what he was talking about, and I agree with him on that. I was like, that was one of the biggest issues that I had when it came to playing these games. So
actually, talking of which, I did get myself let's say a slightly dodgy version of Cyberpunk the other day.
Oh, you did get a Cyberpunk?
Yeah, but like I said, not a totally legit copy.
Oh.
But yeah, I was just wondering that because I'm using an Intel Xe GPU on this machine.
You've crossed over to the
Um,
dark side, is what it is.
yeah, I've got to really look at the graphics on it, and running it on the wine as well, which is an interesting experience.
So have you tried it?
Only to quickly look at it.
So you're about to enter.
And notice that I needed to download the graphical things and the graphical systems.
You're about to enter a world, man, that you've never been to before.
I don't know. I've played a lot of RPGs in my time. I'm a big fan of the Deus Ex franchise.
These aren't the same. I know exactly what games. Last week you made references to a lot of games that I'm aware of when it comes to the RPGs, but these are in a totally different like catalog. They're cool. Don't get me wrong, but like two totally different.
I don't know. It's an RPG with sort of that sort of pseudo cyber internety type thing like Deus Ex did, but also there's also the sort of car elements, the driving element, the grand whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's like I said, they're good. Don't get me wrong, they are good. Like, have you tried or have you seen the new freaking Final Fantasy games?
I've never been a fan of the Final Fantasy, and besides, they only PlayStation packages, aren't they?
Yeah, but have you at least looked at them?
I've had a look at a few.
What do you think about that? The new
again, I'm not a big fan of the third person over the shoulder sort of games. If I'm playing an RPG, I would like to be able to see it from my character's eyes or my character point of view.
That's actually pretty cool. That's a good thought. That is good. I never even thought about it like with Elder Scrolls. That's one thing that I do like. I just don't like the fact that when you're running around, the freaking your arms are sticking out and you're running like that. I think that kind of looks a little weird, you know.
I don't know. When you're walking, you can see your arms by your side, can't you? You look either side of you and see your arms.
So you mean you walk around like that in real life, dude?
Well, I don't walk around in sort of
with your hands sticking out like a robot and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Not quite. Not quite.
I'm just asking, you know. And then like running with your arms freaking spread backwards and spread out, you know, like you're floating in the air, you know. Just weird stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's actually a good thing to talk about eventually later on, is going through that, and then like tournament games, you know. Maybe start getting into a little bit more of the tournaments. I checked out a lot of the scores and everything for the upcoming tournaments and everything that's been happening. I get.
Personally, I'm more of a sole player. I prefer playing sole sort of games rather than online sort of multi-user sort of games.
Well, you know that's actually there. There's been a rise in that here lately too. It's been coming back. Like they're seeing a more uptick on people going back and playing games like Elder Scrolls and stuff, whereas before they were doing the multiple player games, you know, stuff of that nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so I can finish off on the topics I wanted to bring up too. I do want to make it clear to everybody who's watching that I do want to do more interviews. I'd like to have a couple people back, from before. I'd like to have RJ come back and figure out why he's slowed down on streaming, and maybe give a little background on why he stopped doing his podcasts and stuff. Because I've said it as well as I could, but I don't know all the stories. And I'm also wanting to maybe get or find out how far Darker Things and Jen has gotten with their RPG game. They wanted to create an RPG game, and I told them that I would be like their guinea pig, their tester, and run through it and see how that's going. So I'd like to be able to do that if they ever watch this stream and they want to come back on, we can discuss that, because I do want to start bringing out. I want at least one stream that's focusing on tabletop role-playing games. Now,
role-playing games, what do you mean?
Like D&D.
Okay. The old Baldur's Gate and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Neverwinter's Night, that's gone back a few years, but yeah, that sort of thing.
I'd like to do that. In Darker Things, he was wanting to actually start getting into that with his son when I was interviewing him. He's been having issues with his computer, and so I haven't really had a chance much to talk to him and everything. And when I do talk to him, he's always got something going on. So. And there's another guy, he goes by Zira on Home Away from YouTube. Now, Zira was doing an interview with us, and he also discussed he had a career in radio, and that's something that I do want to go through. I want to maybe get him back on and discuss his radio career if he's willing to do that, I think that would be cool. Especially considering, we got Mark Wojcicki.
Yeah, Mark the
Wojcicki.
Yeah, whoever. Yeah.
From Dragus Productions. Maybe get him on here too, and do a good conversation with him, and get some stuff going on. Hopefully, freaking. We can get a lot more set up. I really do want to focus more on getting this game stream going, and focus on some of the topics. Last week I came on and I did like all the technical stuff, like about the business aspects of it, but I also
which I missed half of.
Yeah.
But yeah, missed half of it.
So I mean, it did turn out pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem with all that, but I think I like also getting into like knowing more about people and stuff like that when I do this stuff, because the gamers are interesting people. Like, they're lazy as fuck. First off, like, and it's cool how they're lazy. You know what I mean? Like they have this suave way of being lazy little shits that makes you fall in love with them and want to frickin' hang out with them. You know what I mean? And they'll tell you straight out that that's how they are. And they have no problem with it. And it was like I was talking.
Mind you, I can talk. I was at the moment I'm spending all my time in front of these monitors. That's why I've removed my kettle and the coffee stuff just there.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, just the height for laziness.
Well, I mean, it's like freaking the cool part about the whole deal is it's like a lot of them, man, are. Well, I was going over it before you got on here. You know, there's a lot of them that'll point blank tell you they're not into editing their videos or anything like that. They don't want to do an outro or an intro to go with it, and they're just into the streaming. You know, and that's cool to some, you know, to some extent. But then there's others that are on here that actually do that stuff and they're really into it. And I've been able to meet both of them, and I think that would be something that would come up. That would be a good topic to come up with, and also like mental health. Okay, and I know a lot of people don't really like talking about mental health when it comes to the internet. But you get these gamers on freaking a live stream, dude, and they have no problem discussing their mental health issues. They're the only people on the internet I know that's willing to openly discuss it.
Okay.
And everybody else seems to be shy about the whole topic, like it's something they should be ashamed of and shit like that, you know. But
I don't know. It's probably also a demographic. It's also country sort of thing. Because in some countries, the aspects of mental health is very sort of not discussed.
Yeah,
as much.
Especially over there in England.
Yeah. I was going to compare the US to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
England is real notorious for it, and from what Bob Dub's been talking about, freaking, she said that somebody straight up told her that it was bad for her to do that, to discuss her mental illness on the internet, because it would hurt her brand.
I don't know that it's all dependent on the specifics of the brand. Yeah, that it's all dependent on the individual person and how they approach it.
Like, it just kind of that really strikes me in a bad place when I hear somebody say that. You know what I mean? Because mental health is something serious, you know, and people should feel comfortable about discussing it rather than hide it.
I don't know, the old British stiff upper lip sort of mentality was the thinking.
Yeah, the whole tea and crumpets thing.
Yeah, I was actually talking to somebody, I think in Rio or somebody, a couple of months ago about the sort of difference between the American and the US and British approach to these things.
Yeah, like you guys actually stick people in mental wards and like let people walk through and look at them and pay like a pent.
Not so much these days.
Not so much these days. You got excited. You got excited and froze your.
Yeah.
You froze up because.
More for the communities with the volunteers. It's more putting these people back out in, individuals out into society.
Yeah. No, I don't think that people who need to be in mental wards should be released, you know what I mean? But at the same...
Well, depends if they're a danger to themselves or other people.
Right.
It's that old argument, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And then, like, but there were cases where a lot of people got put into those mental wards when they shouldn't have really been put there, you know?
Well, depends on which decade, which era you're talking about, really.
Well, England.
Yeah, but which era are we talking about within the last 30 odd years, or are we talking about 100 years ago?
Yeah, well, I'd say it all slowed down mostly in the late 70s for everywhere.
Yeah, I would say slightly later, mid to late 80s.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was wondering what it was. Freaking Naroki was hitting the notifications on there, sending out his message. He's going to be doing a show tonight, so that's not game related, so I'm not going to bring it up because we're about video games here. We're not about all that stuff, so.
Since are you going to join the one?
Well, I could. It is Friday, so I can do that, but like he said it was at like 9:30 or some shit, and that's like 10:30
a.m. my time.
Yeah, that's
something like that.
Yeah, so it's
13.
I mean, I can join it and everything, but it's far off. Like it's like 10:30 at night, so whenever it comes through here, let me go ahead and do a little review on you, see what you think about this stuff. So, what do you think about the idea of possibly giving out free game codes on the show for a contest?
Mm, depends on how you do it.
Okay, good.
Uh,
Okay,
I'm not a big fan of endorsements personally.
this is the fun part. You're gonna love this.
Okay.
I've finally mastered my plan for the roadman. You remember the conversation about the roadman over in London?
Just barely.
You know,
Yeah, I remember we
you know,
had one. Yeah.
the kids that walk around with the real thick accents and slang.
Mm.
I've created a script that is all roadman languages, or slang. Okay.
Okay.
Now, whoever wants to join this contest and is able to talk roadman the best out of a script that it has 1,500 to 3,000 words in it wins the contest. Now
Okay.
okay. Now, first of all, they can send it in by recording if they want to, because I know people are shy. You know what I mean? They don't want to be on the live stream. So I told them they could send it in with a recording, or they can come on and do it live, or we could take their recording and stream it on the live stream. You know what I mean? Or if they don't want us to, we can leave it out. But if they win, we do have to play their video to show that somebody actually did do it good, you know. That's the only stipulation.
Okay,
But have the contest for an entire month, and anybody who comes up with the best reading for this script wins the contest. Now, I've already got 3 potential people willing to do it. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see. There's the entire question of ownership of the scripts. If you're going to read them out, or if you're going to have them aired.
This is mine. This is mine. I've reached down into the darker ebb of the universe, and I pulled it from my arse. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is completely there's no copyright involved with it whatsoever. It is clean and clear.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Yeah. And obviously you've got permission to provide those game codes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
sounds okay.
I can actually, if what it is like me and John, we're always surfing like Galaxy of Games, GOG or GOG.
Oh yeah.
And Epic and Steam, and they're constantly giving out free games. And like, what really got me on the idea was John keeps sending me all these freaking keys, game keys. And I was thinking about it one day. I was like, why don't we just take and maybe use them as like free gifts for people in contests? If you win the contest, you get a game code or a game key, you know. And if nothing else, I can go in and I can get a game key. There's tons of good games that you can get for like $2-3.
Yeah.
You know.
Obviously, the other person has to have the same, be signed up to the same service. So may that be GOG or may that be Steam.
Yeah.
Or store.
Well, I'll let people know too if they aren't hooked up with those platforms. The majority of games coming onto Steam is usually off of Epic Games and off of GOG, and there's also freaking a few of the other ones like I was just talking about it last week and I forgot what it was. It's the gaming tournaments stuff that does esports.
Okay.
esports has their own setup too, where you can actually get free games straight from esports if you keep track of it. And like when it comes to like the holidays and things of that nature, they'll, they'll,
Mm.
they'll send you emails saying, "Look, we got free games available."
Mm.
So I mean, and that's kind of one of the things John got me hooked on doing. I shouldn't really be proud of that, but I mean, at least go in and look at them. So, and then Epic. See, Epic, I always wanted to start getting more serious about them because they also have their own setup like Unity does,
Yeah.
where you can create your own games and shit. So I wanted to get into that. So it was no big leap for me when it comes to Epic Gaming. Okay.
If it, as far as Unity is concerned, I remember there was an entire argument about ownership of those games. So you buy license from them to use their engine, but they still technically own your games.
Yeah. And
You create it.
the games that I did attempt to make on there, it just you could never actually publish them. Now I could take the files and I could apply them to like a VR chat and
You
make
couldn't release them under any license apart from theirs.
yeah. No, I could incorporate them on VR chat to create my own VR world and stuff like that.
No. Mm.
But
So
that
let's say you couldn't release them under an open source license agreement.
no, I doubt that would even happen. To be honest, they're in it for the business. That's what they're in it for. That's kind of why I'm curious a lot about the stuff that I've been doing with Minds Gaming and Bob Dub when it comes to the stuff they're doing. But I'm still on the fence about it. I'm not.
The entire virtual world sort of
Yeah.
what we used to call VIML.
Hmm.
So yeah.
I've been wanting to speak more about them too when it comes to games, especially with the gaming community because it is Minds Gaming. You know what I mean? So maybe that's something that I should be bringing up more of too. But I can't seem to get those guys to come on to the show because they're afraid of the CIA. I need to make a freaking song about the CIA and Discord and Skype and open source.
Yeah, like I said, you twisted my arm the other day and got me onto Discord.
Well, I mean,
Painful. Was painful.
for me, I found it to be encouraging and uplifting that a man of your stature would actually go on Discord. So you really made my day. Okay, you did a good job, man. You inspired me. If you can do that, then maybe I can say nice things about open source.
Fair enough.
So you actually helped me become a better person with your actions.
I will go to heaven.
Okay, now one thing too I did want to talk about to you about is I wanted to talk earlier and I did do some talking about it. Now, what are your thoughts about this thing with gamers about like it's easier for gamers to go on and stream games, but like somebody who has other channels like gardening or freaking like Blender and computer graphics or something that's serious outside of the gaming community, other than politics, of course, because they get a lot of views, but they can't get those same views and they have to hustle more. Do you think that that's fair? Do you think that's right that they get more exposure because it's
Well, if you set up different channels for each of your subjects and then you advertise them, cross channel advertising, don't see any problem with that.
No, I'm talking about organically too. That's a big issue that needs to be discussed too. Like pushing the dollar bill to advertise a freaking a, a video or a game, or not a game. Well, yeah, even games that's just shitty is, to me, wasting your money. You know what I mean? Like freaking, if it's got good organic reach, maybe use SEO and then like categories on the YouTube channel. That's a big one. I think those are good, but like going in there and hitting the promote button just so you can get more views, I think is just like wasting money, especially if it's if it's content that people aren't going to watch.
Well, at the end of the day, it's for the viewers, the audience to decide, isn't it? And it's free market. If somebody goes onto a channel, I've done it quite a few times, I might watch one episode of something and then realise I didn't like it, or I might watch 2 or 3 episodes and then realise that they've got a certain slant on their content, and then I just unsubscribe.
Well, I mean, my whole question though was, do you think that it's right that like YouTube caters to gamers more than they do all the other genres, other than politics?
I wonder if they do actually.
You know, and Twitch.
People say that, but
Twitch does the same thing too. Twitch is notorious for it. Like,
generally, when I'm on YouTube, I want to look at what is shown to me. I will only look at my notifications and only look at the channels I've already subscribed to.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to, man, if you want to, you can check that out later on, and we can talk about that, because that would be something like you would be the one who would be able to bring up the statistics and stuff. So that and time zones. Oh man, the time zones.
If they can find the figures and
like everybody that's in my gaming thing now, they say freaking, hey Infamous, tell me what time it is for so and so for this show and stuff, and because of you I know how to answer it. Like you're the guy. You're the guy. You know what that means, right?
I noticed that you mentioned EST and GMT earlier.
Yeah, I know.
Remember, we're still in summertime.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Both the US and the UK.
Each time I do that, I think of you, man, because I know that you would say that, and like this is the first time you've had a chance to actually mention that, and I knew that it was coming. Like, it's not GMT, and it's actually daylight time, right? Eastern Daylight Time.
So when you say EST, you should, just to make it easier on the viewers, it be EDT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or do what the staff on mines do, just say ET.
Yeah.
That covers everything, really.
Now, UTC is something that you're big on now, and I know that's one thing that you
use that.
Well, it's easier on you. It's easier on you because that rotates around England, and then like
GMT, it rotates around,
which is UTC, Universal.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're not fooling anybody, Mark. We know what it's about. It's just like Mine's Gaming today. He's like, well, I'm gonna do the time, and it's gonna be Eastern time, and because it's easier on me. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. It's because it's easier on you, dude. So you get your time zone. You know what I mean?
Set up your computer or get a wall clock that shows international times. Actually, I did have one on the backlog, on the back of the wall. That had 3 different clocks. One set up for Pacific time, one set up for UTC and one set up for China, I think.
Yeah, probably for Jaffe's show, I'm guessing. I'm not sure, but that's probably why you did it.
Mm.
Now,
Yeah, go with the first.
now I do want to ask you something though. When it comes to Minds Gaming, he is in the process, which I should bring this up, but he's in the process of setting up. I guess it would be a gaming platform, kind of like channel platform, and we're just going through it, so I'm not getting into the technicalities of it. But he's coming up with a program or an app that freaking sets up the times to where whenever you get on there, it shows your time. And I tagged you. I tagged you on Mind's chat over that because I told him straight up. I was like, "You're the guy that he needs to talk to when it comes to that." So I kind of built myself up to be a cool dude.
Yeah, when we were still playing with the idea of having a new website for the private network, just on code at the moment. I was thinking Jeffrey was setting up times for, or he was having a list of different times. I was thinking about creating some sort of calendar functionality to show local localized time.
Yeah, something that would show like what time it is for me, and then what time it is for somebody else. You know what I mean? And when they got on there, like if somebody, like it would be 5 hours from now. So whenever you posted something, it would say that it was 5 hours from now. But when I see in your post, it would show my time. You know what I mean? So that I would know exactly how long ago it was that you made that post. Something cool like that. Not all this rigmarole. That's an American word, by the way. This rigmarole.
Rigmarole. Isn't that British term?
No.
Okay, I'll have to have a look at that into more. I'll have to look at Oxford English Dictionary on the whole.
You're gonna get me good on that one. But anyhow, I went ahead and I covered all the topics. It's at an hour and 34 minutes. I wanted to discuss that with you about the other content and everything. After that, I just basically went in and started talking about all the people that I did the interviews with. And when you showed up, you came in right when I was talking about the idea of creating the ideal gaming channel. You know what I mean?
Okay, I thought you only just started because according to your Skype message, you said
I can clear that up right now. It's just that I typed it in and I never hit enter until I was like at that point.
An hour and 15 minutes ago you said your stream doesn't start until another 15 minutes, so I was just thinking started half an hour ago.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, man, if it's in there and it's on, just come on in. I usually set it up ahead of time, where like today I set the chat up to where it was opened up like an hour beforehand, and that was because
I can see you set up at 2108 UTC.
And it's because I wanted to incorporate this cool background on the gaming stream that Mark Wojcicek donated to us because he's so cool. Did you see that by any chance?
No.
It's on the stream if you ever get a chance to look at it. It's really cool. And I'd like to say thanks again for him to do that. He also has like this hippie freaking alchemical freaking picture. like the one where it has the rainbow, and then the little dude sitting down underneath the tree. He's laying down, and then the stars are up in the air above him.
Not specifically, but you've described it well enough.
I forgot what the damn name of it is here. I can probably change it, or I can share it to where you can see it, because he sent it to me in a message. Actually, yeah, here we go. I'll forward it to the gaming channel. That way you can see it. This one is pretty cool. It's just not really gaming oriented. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's more, but I can still use this for my weirdo videos.
Okay, yeah.
So I think
colorful.
now that is really, really esoteric picture. And what he did is he turned it into a hippie GIF, which like the more cool and updated version of the alchemical secrets of the esoteric. What do you think about that? Now, this little dude right here, the one that's laying down, he's actually supposed to be laying down under a rainbow. And like over to the right of him, it's supposed to be
Okay.
it's supposed to be like an altar with a lot of symbolism in it. And the stars that are up in the air with the sun and the moon up above, and then like that little all of that is basically supposed to be symbolic. So he ended up donating that, or for it. And I went ahead and used the gaming one for this, and then maybe on my other shows when it comes to esoteric stuff I can use that in there too. So I thought that was cool. It
would have been better if it was on the 16:9 aspect ratio, rather than the 4:3. Yeah.
Now,
just because of monitors.
I did notice though it goes beautifully with the freaking verticals, like on the vertical for Twitch. It's fitting in.
Okay.
It's fitting in perfect right there. So I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, people who are sitting and listening to us talk and everything can just sit and watch the background where people are playing games and stuff of that nature. So I think that's pretty interesting.
I don't know. There's a lot going on there. If you've got something in front of it, it could be a bit too distracting, maybe.
I have dealt with people like that on streaming, and you know what I really, really think of them? I think they can kiss my ass.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I said it, you know what I mean? They're like, that's just a little too much, and you need to stop putting so much stuff on your videos. Why you have to do all those transitions and stuff like that, and the background music. What do you need the background music for?
Yeah, but I've come across videos with the background music is so loud that you can't hear what the commentator's saying.
Yeah, I know.
It's very hard to hear what the commentator's saying.
I ended up stopped using it because I realized what it was, and one dude hit it on the mark whenever he mentioned it in the comment section where freaking it's probably the headphones, and that's what it was. Like whenever I go in and I want to put this background music into the streams that I do, it doesn't sound like it's that loud when I'm doing it.
Yeah, I've mentioned this to you on previous ones, on a few of your Sunday streams, where the cutlery music and the sort of intermission music is a lot louder than your voice.
Yeah.
So 1 minute it sounds I've got my volume levels at one point, and then I've got to change my volume levels because music's a lot louder.
Well, whenever it comes to my voice, it's because my voice is very sexy, and like if I turn it up, then like I don't want to like make all the women, you know, faint. They love to faint at the sight of me.
Okay.
I walk down the street and they just
You say that.
they faint, you know. And I'm not talking about like to fall over fainting unconscious. You know, women faint without fainting, right?
Yeah.
When a woman sighs at a beautiful man, that's a faint.
Usually they just drop over in shock when they see me.
That's a faint, dude. They're fainting. So, all right. So yeah, we've covered quite a bit. We're at an hour and 45 minutes or 43 minutes now. Before we go, do me a favor and tell everybody about you and how they can contact you, Mark.
Okay, as per usual, on minds.com, so minds.com/Medworthy.
Okay. And I also like to mention, because he always seems to do this in every show that we do, or he does, and I'm on there with him. He forgets to mention, too, that he is the co-host of Roger's Real-Time Talk Show. He's done 2 seasons with that. He's also done 2 seasons of frickin' Tech Talk with me and Tan Hai Tran. And I believe it's been 2 seasons. It felt like it was like 3 seasons of Mind's Roundtable weekend event. So, yeah.
Well, I've been in and out on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been around a lot on those, and hopefully, if things go right, we'll have everything going again on those. You can check those out in groups on minds.com as well. Mind's Roundtable, Mind's Weekend Roundtable event, and Tech Talk. I don't really want to put Roger's Real-Time Talk Show on there because freaking I've dealt with those groups and they just drive me nuts. I get angry at them because nobody responds or says anything. I know it sounds weird, dude, but it's like freaking nobody says anything, you know? It's like, talk.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's comments there for a reason, dude. You know, just make a comment. Say, hey, dude, how you doing?
It's very rare. I get comments on my own content, but
Yeah, it's everywhere. That's what I'm talking about. It's just rampant. They don't make comments. So it just irritates me. It's one of those things. It's kind of like you and your timekeeping thing. You know what I mean? I get annoyed because nobody comments on videos. Hint. So with that, we will go ahead and end the show. Thank you for being here, Mark, and thanks to anybody who actually watched this show. I appreciate it. I really do, because I'm desperate. Bye.